Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when the best thing you can do is focus on yourself. Not in a selfish way, not in a cold way, but in a way that says, I matter too. Too many women lose themselves chasing love, attention, and approval while forgetting the most important relationship they'll ever have, the one with themselves. When you begin to focus inward on your peace, your growth, your dreams, something powerful happens. You become stronger. You begin to shine. And suddenly, the things you were chasing start chasing you. When women decide to stop chasing validation and instead focus on themselves, something truly transformative begins to happen. Validation, whether it's from a partner, a friend, or society, often feels good in the moment, but it is fleeting. It comes and goes based on other people's moods, opinions, and actions. And when you live dependent on that, you live on shaky ground. One moment you feel high, the next moment you feel crushed. But when you choose to focus on yourself, on building your strength from within, you create a foundation that no one can take away from you. Focusing on yourself is not selfish, it's survival. It means pouring into your mind, your spirit, and your health. It means asking yourself, what do I need to grow? What do I need to heal? What do I need to thrive? Because when you take the time to answer those questions honestly, you begin to walk in a strength that is unshakable. You're no longer begging for attention. You're no longer fighting for scraps of love. And you're no longer measuring your worth by someone else's approval. Instead, you're anchored in something solid, your own self-respect. Think about a tree. A tree doesn't chase the sun. It grows roots deep into the soil and stretches upward with strength. It doesn't worry about whether people are watching or applauding. It just grows. That's what happens when you focus on yourself. Your confidence becomes like those roots. Deep, strong, unshakable. And soon, without even trying, you bear fruit. Success, peace, and love flow naturally toward you. When you shift your focus inward, you also start to see life more clearly. You stop tolerating toxic behavior. You stop making excuses for people who don't respect you. And you stop wasting energy on things that drain you. Instead, you invest in things that give you life, your purpose, your passions, your goals, your growth. And as you grow, your energy changes. You become magnetic. The very people and opportunities that once ignored you now take notice. Not because you chased them, but because you elevated yourself. This strength is not about becoming hard or bitter. It's about becoming grounded and wise. When a woman focuses on herself, she learns that peace is more important than proving a point. Growth is more valuable than gossip. And healing is more powerful than holding on to pain. This mindset shift changes everything. It allows you to stand tall even when others don't believe in you. It allows you to walk away from things that no longer serve you. And it allows you to build a life based on your standards, not anyone else's. When you stop chasing validation and start focusing on yourself, you reclaim your power. You create strength that can't be shaken by rejection, disappointment, or abandonment. And that strength is what makes everything else fall into place. Silence is often misunderstood. Many people think silence means weakness, or that staying quiet makes you invisible. But the truth is, silence can be one of the most powerful tools you will ever have. When you learn how to stay silent in moments where others expect a reaction, you shift the balance of power. You no longer hand over your peace, your energy, or your dignity just to win an argument or to prove yourself. Silence is strength because it shows that you are in control of yourself. There are times in life when words won't change a thing. You can argue all night. You can explain yourself 100 times. You can try to prove your worth to someone who refuses to see it. But at the end of the day, your words won't move them. In those moments, silence is the louder answer. It communicates without saying a word that you will not lower yourself to chaos. It says, I value my peace more than I value this argument. And that message speaks louder than any words you could throw back. Think about it. Silence reveals truth. When you stop explaining and defending, people's actions become clearer. You begin to see who they really are. A person's character shows up when you no longer feed into their drama. If they respect you, they'll step up. If they don't, they'll show their disregard. Either way, your silence uncovers the truth much faster than endless talking ever could. Silence also gives you power over yourself. When you are silent, you have time to reflect instead of react. You don't let anger or frustration push you into saying things you'll regret. Instead, you take a breath. You step back. You choose your words carefully. Or sometimes you choose none at all. That's not weakness. That's discipline. That's wisdom. Because anyone can explode with words, but not everyone can hold their peace. And here's the beauty: silence protects your energy. Every time you argue with someone who doesn't listen, every time you try to prove your worth to someone who's already made up their mind, you waste precious energy. Energy you could have used to grow, to heal, to focus on yourself. Silence allows you to keep that energy, to guard your heart, to stand tall without lowering your voice. Hear me clearly. Not everyone deserves your response. Not every situation requires your voice. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing. Let your silence speak. Let your boundaries speak. Let your actions speak. Because when you stay silent in wisdom, people notice. They either rise to respect you, or they reveal themselves and walk away. Either way, you win. So don't mistake silence for weakness. Silence is power. It is self-control. It is clarity. And when you master it, you stop being controlled by the noise around you and start living from the strength within you. Respect is not something you demand with loud words, and it's not something you beg for with desperate actions. Real respect is earned through boundaries. Boundaries are the invisible lines you draw around yourself. Lines that say, this is how I expect to be treated, and this is what I will not allow. And here's the truth. When you set boundaries and stand by them, people learn to either respect you, or they remove themselves from your life. Either outcome is a victory. Far too often, women are taught to give endlessly, to forgive endlessly, and to tolerate more than they should, just to keep the peace or to keep a relationship. But peace without respect is not peace. It's silence in chains. Love without respect is not love. It's dependency wrapped in illusion. You cannot expect someone to respect you if you don't respect yourself first. That respect begins with boundaries. A boundary can be as simple as saying no without guilt. It can be refusing to engage in toxic arguments. It can be walking away from someone who repeatedly disregards your feelings. Boundaries are not about controlling others. They're about controlling what you allow into your life. They are the shield that protects your worth, your energy, and your dignity. Think of it like this. If your home had no walls, anyone could walk in, take what they want, and leave a mess behind. That's what life without boundaries looks like. But when you build strong walls with clear doors, you decide who enters, who stays, and who has to leave. Your life, like your home, deserves protection. And the key to that protection is setting firm boundaries. When you enforce boundaries, people may resist at first. They may test you, push you, or accuse you of being too difficult. But remember this, people who truly care about you will adjust. They will respect the line you've drawn because they respect you. Those who refuse to honor your boundaries are showing you exactly who they are. And your job is not to convince them to change. Your job is to protect your peace and stand firm in your worth. Boundaries also create balance. They teach others how to treat you, but they also remind you how to treat yourself. When you say, I will not accept disrespect, you affirm that you are valuable. When you say, I will not exhaust myself to please everyone, you affirm that your well-being matters. Each boundary you set is an act of self-love, and self-love is the foundation of real respect. So remember, this respect is not given to the loudest person in the room, or to the one who sacrifices everything to be loved. Respect belongs to the woman who knows her worth and refuses to compromise it. Respect follows boundaries. And when you honor yourself enough to draw those lines, you will find that others have no choice but to honor you too. Peace is one of the greatest gifts you can ever give yourself. Yet so many people trade it away for drama. They get caught in arguments, in toxic relationships, in gossip, in situations that drain their soul. But the truth is, this peace is more valuable than being right, more valuable than winning an argument, more valuable than proving a point. When you learn to choose peace over drama, you take back your power and protect your spirit. A drama thrives on reaction. It feeds on your energy. The more you argue, the more you explain, the more you try to convince, the more drama grows. But peace thrives on stillness. It grows when you learn to step away, to breathe, and to refuse to be pulled into chaos. Peace doesn't mean you avoid every conflict, but it means you refuse to let conflict control your life. Choosing peace requires wisdom. It means asking yourself, will this matter a year from now? Is this worth my energy? Does this argument build me up or tear me down? Most of the time, the answer is clear. Drama is not worth it. Walking away from drama is not weakness. It's strength, because it takes far more courage to protect your peace than to win an argument that leaves you empty. Imagine a calm river. It flows steadily, beautifully, with power. Now imagine someone throwing rocks into it. The water may ripple, but it never stops flowing. That's what peace looks like when you choose it over drama. People may throw negativity, insults, or challenges your way, but you don't stop flowing. You don't lose your direction. You remain calm and steady because your peace is anchored deep within you. When you choose peace, you also gain clarity. Drama clouds your vision. It keeps you stuck in cycles of stress, anger, and confusion. But peace clears the fog. It helps you see who belongs in your life and who doesn't. It helps you recognize which battles are worth fighting and which ones you must release. Peace is not about avoiding reality. It's about creating space to handle reality with strength and grace. And let's be honest, drama is tempting. It makes you feel alive in the moment. It gives you something to fight for, a story to tell, a rush of emotion. But that rush is temporary, and it always leaves you drained. Peace, on the other hand, is lasting. It fills you. It sustains you. It makes room for growth, for healing, and for love. Choose peace, even when drama calls your name. Protect your energy like it's gold. Not everyone deserves access to your emotions, your reactions, or your time. Save that for people who uplift you, not those who pull you down. Because at the end of the day, your peace is your power. And when you protect it, everything else in your life begins to align. When you invest in yourself, you increase your value in every area of life. Too many people wait for someone else to come along and make them feel worthy, successful, or fulfilled. But the truth is, no one can do that for you. Value is not something you beg for. It's something you build. And the way you build it is through self-investment. Every time you pour into your mind, your body, and your spirit, you're adding layers of strength, wisdom, and confidence that no one can take away. Self-investment looks different for everyone, but at its core, it means putting effort into your growth. It could be reading books that expand your perspective, taking courses that sharpen your skills, eating healthier to strengthen your body, or practicing habits that bring you peace. Each of these small steps is like depositing into a savings account. Over time, the deposits grow, and suddenly, you have a wealth of value inside you. You become someone who is full, not empty. And when you are full, you stop depending on others to complete you. When you invest in yourself, you also begin to attract differently. People can sense when you carry yourself with confidence, when you know your worth, and when you've put in the work to build yourself up. Opportunities open because people are drawn to individuals who are whole, disciplined, and committed to growth. Relationships improve because you no longer settle for less than you deserve. And your dreams become achievable because you've equipped yourself with the skills and mindset to reach them. Think of it like building a house. If the foundation is weak, no matter how beautiful the walls or decorations, the house will collapse. But if the foundation is strong, it can weather storms and stand tall for years. You are that house. Self-investment builds your foundation. Without it, you'll constantly feel unstable, relying on others to hold you up. With it, you'll stand tall no matter what life throws at you. One of the most powerful things about self-investment is that it creates independence. When you know your value, you don't chase after people to validate you. You don't compromise your standards to be accepted. Instead, you walk in confidence because you've already validated yourself through the effort you've put into your growth. That independence is magnetic. It's what makes others respect you and want to rise to your level. But self-investment isn't just about external success. It's also about inner peace. When you invest in healing your wounds, strengthening your mindset, and caring for your soul, you discover a calmness that drama and chaos can't shake. You start to enjoy your own company. You realize that you don't need to be fixed by anyone because you've already begun the work yourself. Every minute you spend growing, every ounce of effort you put into bettering yourself increases your value. Not because others say so, but because you know it within. And when you know your worth, the world has no choice but to recognize it too. Silence has a way of uncovering truths that words often hide. When you stop talking, stop explaining, and stop justifying yourself, you give life the space to reveal what is real. People show you who they are not when you debate with them, but when you step back and observe. Silence is not empty. It is full of answers. It allows you to see beyond the noise, beyond excuses, and beyond masks. Many times, we feel the urge to speak, to defend, to clarify. We believe if we explain ourselves enough, others will understand, respect, or change. But in reality, words can only go so far. Someone who doesn't value you will never hear you clearly, no matter how carefully you speak. That's why silence is powerful. It removes the performance. It removes the back and forth. And it reveals who is truly with you and who never was. Think about it when you go silent in a relationship, a friendship, or even an argument. Pay attention to what happens next. Do they step closer, asking what's wrong, because they genuinely care? Or do they disappear because your voice was the only thing holding their attention? Do they show patience, or do they show disregard? Silence creates a mirror. It reflects the truth back to you, without you having to say a word. Silence also reveals truth within yourself. When the world is noisy, when opinions are pulling you in different directions, when confusion clouds your judgment, silence gives you clarity. In the stillness, you can finally hear your own voice. You can ask yourself, what do I really feel? What do I really need? What do I really want? Often, the answers are already inside you, but you can't hear them until you become quiet enough to listen. There is a reason why wise people are often silent. It's not because they don't know what to say. It's because they know not everything needs to be said. They understand that time and silence reveal more than arguments ever could. Silence exposes motives, intentions, and character in ways that words cannot. But silence doesn't mean you suppress your voice forever. It doesn't mean you allow disrespect or stay quiet in the face of injustice. What it means is choosing when to speak and when to step back and let the truth rise on its own. It's about discerning the difference between a battle worth fighting and one that is best left to silence. So learn to embrace it. Let silence be your teacher. Let it show you who belongs in your life. Let it give you wisdom when your heart feels torn. Let it reveal what is hidden beneath the noise. Because in the end, silence is not just the absence of words. It is the presence of truth. And once you see the truth, you are no longer bound by illusions. You can make choices with clarity, strength, and peace. When you learn to focus on yourself, everything else begins to align. Life has a way of responding to clarity. When your energy is scattered, when your attention is divided between chasing approval, fixing others, and trying to control outcomes, things feel messy and chaotic. But the moment you decide to center your focus on your growth, your peace, and your purpose, the pieces of your life begin to fall into place like a puzzle finally coming together. Alignment is not magic. It's the natural result of focus. Think of a magnifying glass. When the sunlight passes through it unfocused, nothing happens. But when you adjust the glass and center the light into one point, it becomes powerful enough to create fire. That's what focus does in your life. When you stop pouring your energy into distractions and start directing it toward what truly matters, you ignite strength, opportunities, and clarity that once felt impossible. Many people waste years chasing love, chasing approval, chasing recognition, only to feel empty at the end of the race. Why? Because you cannot control other people. You cannot make them love you, respect you, or stay loyal. But you can control yourself. You can focus on becoming the best version of you. And when you do that, the people and opportunities meant for you naturally find their way into your life. That is alignment. When you focus inward, you raise your standards. You no longer tolerate what drains you or disrespects you. You start to move with intention instead of desperation. And that shift creates space for better things to enter. The wrong relationships fall away. Toxic environments push themselves out. And the right people, the right opportunities, and the right energy begin to appear. And not because you forced them, but because your focus changed your direction. Alignment also brings peace. Instead of constantly wrestling with life, you begin to flow with it. You start to notice that what once felt heavy no longer has power over you. You find yourself in the right places at the right time, meeting people who uplift instead of drain, pursuing paths that excite instead of exhaust. And all of this begins with focus. The decision to stop scattering your energy and to start centering it on your growth. But let me be clear, alignment doesn't mean everything becomes perfect. Life will still bring challenges. But when you're aligned, even challenges work for you instead of against you. They teach you, shape you, and push you further along your path. Because when you're focused, you see setbacks not as defeats, but as redirections towards something better. So understand this: alignment follows focus. When you focus on becoming stronger, wiser, and more at peace, the right things begin to find you. Love finds you. Opportunities find you. Clarity finds you. Because life has no choice but to match the energy you create within yourself. Keep your focus, and alignment will follow.